Welcome everyone to Get Bricked. Today we've got some Demon Slayer minifigures in honor of the latest season ending. So we've got 6 in total, so let's go ahead and get it opened. Thank you for joining us today on Get Bricked. Today we're checking out some Demon Slayer minifigures. Now I actually picked these up at a convention a little while ago and it was a pack of 6 of them. So I figured why not take a look, seeing as how we did include a bunch of the main characters as well. Now included in this 6-pack we've got, of course, Tanjiro Kamado, we've got his sister Nezuko Kamado, and then we've got the most scared character in any anime that I've seen so far. We've got Zenitsu Agatsuma. And then of course we've got the most fierce and beast-like character in all of anime, I think. We've got Inosuke Hashibira. And then we've got a Hashira, we've got Guiyu Tomioka, and the final minifigure is actually a demon. We've got Akaza, who's actually part of the upper rank 6. So let's check out the detail on these minifigures. But taking a look at Tanjiro first, I love the fact that there is a print wrapping all the way around the body, on the front and back of the legs and on the front and back of the torso. We've got prints on the sides, on both the legs and the upper body. We've got prints on the sides of the arms. So all together, a really nice print. It definitely matches the look of the character in his kind of Demon Slayer core outfit. He's got his kind of uniform on underneath, and then he's got that coat over top, which is actually, I think, based off of like a Hawari. I believe that's how you pronounce it, like a jacket or something like that. And his is done up in a checkered pattern, but I like the look of it overall. It's more brown for the uniform than it would be black as it's seen in the anime, but it doesn't look too bad with that, and it's still got a lot of detail, especially with the white and the red print there on the feet. And then moving up, we've got the green and gray kind of pattern for the jacket, and I like the look that that gives, especially since we get the printed arm pieces on there. Now moving up to the head, we do get the kind of pulled back hair, like kind of slicked back, done up in like a short wavy kind of style, but it definitely matches the look you'd see for Tanjiro in the show. And then moving to the face, he does actually feature 2 prints for the face. He's got one where he's got a bit of a smile going on there, probably for when he's kind of reassuring his sister. And then of course he's got a bit more of an aggressive, angry kind of face for when he's fighting. And I like the look that this gives, and the fact that they do have the print above his left eye as a nice touch, because it adds a little bit extra detail to the figure. And I like that we actually get 2 prints for this one, because not all of the figures in this set include 2 prints. Now Tanjiro does include an accessory where he's got his sword and sheath, and initially for him I didn't think his sword and sheath actually came apart, because the handle part actually broke off and it was very flush in there. So I didn't think it actually came apart. I thought it was just a display kind of sword and sheath to go with him. But after tinkering with it a little bit, I was actually able to pull out the blade and then reattach it to the handle properly. And it did just kind of slot in there, and it's a really snug fit. So now that it's in there, it is actually working with the sheath a little bit better. But I like that he has a just solid black blade. He's got the hilt where it's mainly done up with black and a little bit of red. And then he's got a gray pommel on the bottom of his sword as well. And I like the look of the sword with the character, and it looks really good, but he's just gonna have to be careful he doesn't break another one. Next up for the minifigures, we've got Nezuko, and I like the look of Nezuko with her kimono. It's done up with the pink kind of style there, and it does have a print that extends from the front of the torso onto the front of the legs. And then I like the fact that the print wraps around the front, side, and back of the legs as well. And then of course with the arms, there's no print on the arms, but she's meant to be wearing some kind of like outer jacket, so it kind of makes sense that those would just be one solid color. But I like the look of this one for the character. It definitely matches the look, especially with the different coloring with the red and white, as well as a little bit of green and like the other belts and sashes that she's wearing. Now moving up to the head, she does actually have an interesting design for her hairpiece, where it's actually 2 separate pieces that have kind of come together to interlock and give it the look the character should have. So the first piece is the front piece here, where it's got the 2 pieces of the bangs coming down, as well as the bamboo mouth guard that she wears to kind of reinforce the fact that she shouldn't be biting people. So I like the way that they've included that as like one separate piece, and with that little bit of a pink ribbon on the side as well. And the second piece is actually just the back half of the hair, kind of right behind the front of her hair, moving over the top of her head into the back and then flowing down the back. That's all one additional piece that interlocks with the first front piece. And it doesn't look too bad altogether when you have the 2 pieces together, and it's really actually hard to kind of pick up on the fact that it is actually 2 separate pieces unless you're looking at it close up from the sides. But otherwise it looks really good for the character. Now unfortunately Nezuko is not a character that includes 2 prints prints for the head. She's just got the one print, which is a bit of a downside because it would have been nice to see an alternate set of eyes for her on the figure, maybe for when she's angry and has to defend her brother. And she actually doesn't include really any accessory pieces either, which is a bit of a downside. Would have been nice to get her with like a small box or something like that on the side. Now, the next two figures we have are basically polar opposites. So first up for those ones, we've got Zenitsu, and this is one of the most scared and most frightened character in anime, I think. But of course, that's only when he's conscious. Now, looking at the print for this one, I love the look of it where it's got definitely the matching look to his kind of outer coat. A little bit of an odd choice though for the coloring, because as it goes from the main body to the legs, it kind of has more of a stark difference. It actually changes quite drastically. So it doesn't quite blend and mesh as well as someone like Tanjiro does with his kind of outfit and his outer jacket. But I like the look of this one, and it definitely has the similar kind of like design to his Demon Slayer core outfit underneath. And I like the fact that it's kind of done up with like a bit kind of a similar color, a little bit brown, but maybe a lighter shade of brown. Still not black like they show in the anime, but he's got the orange going around his legs as well. And then of course matching the look of his feet too with the kind of toes there. Now he does include a print on the side of the arms as well to match the look of his jacket. And it does fade pretty nicely for the arms on there. So I'm happy that they at least included additional printing on it. Now moving up to the head, he's got the yellow and orange kind of hair that he's known for. It definitely matches the look of his character. And then he is one of the other characters that includes two prints for the head. Now, of course, the first one, he's got a bit of a worried expression on him, maybe a little bit apprehensive. And then the alternate head is for actually when he goes into his fighting stance, which is actually when he's asleep. So his eyes are of course always closed, but he does have a more angry and kind of like determined kind of face for when he's in that mode, because he's just got to take care of business. No time to worry about anything. Now included for Zenitsu, he's got his signature Demon Slayer sword, and his is done up in a slightly different style than Tanjiro, of course. Tanjiro had a solid one color blade, but Zenitsu has the lightning kind of pattern going down the course of his blade, and it does look like they've tried to match that. Maybe not perfectly accurate to the show, but I like the fact that it at least tried to give it that kind of lightning look going down the blade, so it does kind of make it look like it should for the character. And of course he's got the yellow hilt and the white and yellow for the handle with the like diamond chevrons kind of going up the handle there, and he's actually got a yellow pommel instead. But his sheath is done up in a white and yellow coloring, and it looks really good and clean for his character. And that brings us to his polar opposite. We've got Inosuke, and Inosuke is not afraid of anything. He definitely is willing to charge in there and go ahead and take the brunt of the battle. He's willing to just set his body on the line and just, you know, try and get the win at any cost. And I like the look of his character, of course. He's got his printed torso where he's got that muscle tone kind of printed on him, even on the arms and on his back as well. And then he's got the kind of like fur around his waist that he's supposed to have in a couple different shades. And then he's got the kind of blue pants that he's known for wearing. And then I like that he's got like his toes showing there on the print as well at the front. So that's a nice touch that they included just that amount of detailed printing on it. So it does make it look really good as a figure overall. Now moving up to the head, he does have his signature boar head that you see him wearing all the time because of course he practices beast breathing. And it looks really good. It's even got a bit of the googly eyes kind of thing that the anime has as well for the boar head. Now if you take the boar heads off, you can actually see his face that's underneath there. Now there's no alternate print for his head or any alternate hair piece or anything like that, so you don't really get the opportunity to display him with his hair. But I feel like this kind of character, you're usually going to be displaying him with the boar head anyways, so it's not too bad that they didn't include that. So I think it's still a really nice look to the character and matches the look. Now included for accessories other than the boar head, he does have the two swords, the twin swords that he's known for wielding, and of course they've got the serrated kind of style to it. And I like that they're done up with the kind of like almost like a grayish blue and then the lighter kind of gray for the sword. And then he's got kind of more straight handles because of course his handles in the show look like they're wrapped just in like kind of bandages of some kind. No hilt really or pommel anyways, but I like the look of those ones for his character. Just don't let the swordsmith know that he's tampered with them, because that might send him into a bit of a rage. And that brings us to the only Hashira that we got in this set of minifigures. We've got Guiyu, and I like the look of his print because it actually does kind of have the seam down the middle running down his back and his front, so it does make it look like he should in the show, where he's got his like kind of stitched together outfit and his stitched together outside jacket. Now he of course is wearing the more traditional kind of Demon Slayer core uniform underneath, where it's actually done up to like look like it's actually in black. Definitely a different shade of color from both Tanjiro and Zenitsu. And of course Inosuke doesn't like to wear the actual Demon Slayer core uniform, but I like that Guiyu does have that. And then of course he's got his signature jacket where it's done up in the two kind of colors. One side of it is done up in the red, and then the other side done up in kind of a like green and yellow kind of almost diamond kind of pattern to it, but also kind of like hexagonal as as well in a way. And I like the look that that gives to his character, and the fact that it does make him more of a unique minifigure since it's got the two different colors on each side there. Now the printing does wrap all the way around the body and all the way onto the back and on the sides as well. And of course for the legs, he's got a bit of like a bandage wrap around the legs, and then he's got his signature kind of toed foot look as well. So I like that they're giving them that like ninja toes kind of look to them for the most of the minifigures anyways. Now moving up to the head, he does feature his signature black hairstyle where he's got a bit of a long kind of messy shag kind of going on at the front, and then he's got a bit of a ponytail coming down the back. Now he does not include any alternate print for the head. He's got his kind of more standard kind of look, I guess you could call it, where he's kind of got more of a neutral kind of face, almost as if he could be judging you at any time. And then as for accessories, he does include of course his signature sword, and I like that his sheath is done up with a black and a bit of yellow on the end of it. And for his sword, it's actually largely done up with the black and blue, because of course he's more of a water user, so he's of course got more of a blue kind of blade to it. But I like his hilt done up with the yellow and red there. He's got the white and blue for his main handle, and then for the pommel a bit more of the red matching the hilt. So it does look really good, and it's interesting that his sword has the red on the hilt and everything, and doesn't really incorporate the green like he has on the other side of his jacket. Maybe that's a style choice, but overall it doesn't look too bad of a sword to accompany him. Now included on his sword, there is actually some lettering done up with some characters. Unfortunately, they're really small, and I don't actually know what his sword normally says. But if someone knows, leave that in the comments below, because I'd like to find out what that's actually supposed to say. And that brings us to our final minifigure for this set, where we've got our first demon. Now this is Akaza or Akaza. I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I like the look of this one because of course he's got the print wrapping all the way around the torso, all the way around the legs, and extending onto the arms. He's even got the hands done up in blue to match the look when we've seen him in the anime. And I like the fact that he's got so much printing with all the different line work, especially on the upper body, and even on the bottom of the legs. He's got the feet and the toes done up in a bit of blue, and then those kind of like red baubles going around his legs, and done up with the white pants that he wears. But overall it doesn't look too bad, and I like that he's got his like red vest on as well. But if we move up to the head, he's got the kind of signature pinkish red hair that he's known for, but there is unfortunately a couple of like quality issues with the hairpiece at the back. There's a couple like scuff marks, or maybe it just didn't get taken out of the mold properly, so it's a little bit scuffed there, and maybe a little bit of different kind of coloring than there should be. But overall I do like the look of this one because it does match the look of the character with that short kind of style. Now as for the print for the head, he doesn't include any alternate print. He only has the one print, but he's got kind of a signature kind of smile and got that kind of almost demonic kind of craziness about him, like when he was asking Rengoku to join him. So I like the look of that gives to the character. It definitely looks pretty interesting, and I do like the look that gives. But I gotta say, he is one of the more interesting kind of characters because he doesn't include any accessories or anything like that, but he is actually one of the more imposing of the demons. He's actually upper rank 3 in total, so he's pretty high up there, so he's a pretty tough opponent, and we'll have to see what happens with him in the show moving forward. Now included in this set of minifigures, they did include a stand for each of them done up in black, and it's actually done up as a 4x3 piece, which is not something you normally see commonly, so I'm happy that we got those included in this set so we can actually have them on display on stands. So now that we've taken a look at all of the minifigures, I do think these minifigures are a really good representation of the characters. They match the look, they've got the accessories for the most part for the ones you'd want, they've got their swords and their sheaths and everything, so they do look really good with all of those kind of combined together. And it's just a shame there wasn't a couple of small additional things, like for example with Nezuko not having an alternate head print. Same kind of thing though with the demon as well. Even Guiyu could have probably benefited from an alternate print, but I do think Nezuko is the one that missed out the most with an alternate print for the head. That would have been a nice touch to see her with a bit of an angry kind of eyes. Now we'll go ahead and put up a shot of them all done up in an action pose, and of course with minifigures they're very hard to get into different positions and like more dynamic positions because they are very limited on their posability. But I think the scene that we were able to set up here is really nice. We've got Nezuko being held back by Guiyu, and then of course we've got Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and even Inosuke fighting against the main demon. And it looks like they're going for some kind of a combination attack, trying to make sure that the demon has no escape. But let me know which of these Demon Slayer minifigures is your favorite, or is there any other characters you'd love to see represented as a minifigure? And maybe we'll keep an eye out and see if we can't track one down. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe and get that bell on to be notified about our next video. Now before you join the Demon Slayer Corps, just be sure to tell everyone that you just got bricked.